This is CNN Breaking News.
Breaking news, Special Counsel Robert Mueller has been keeping radio silence ahead of the midterm elections, but sources now say his investigators, they are pushing ahead with more indictments likely right after the November vote and a report to follow. And the president is also getting ready, naming a new White House counsel to help lead the fight against Mueller's report and against any new investigations that may be launched if Democrats take the House of Representatives. I'll speak with Congressman Denny Heck of the House Intelligence Committee. And our correspondents and analysts, they are standing by with full coverage. Let's begin with our Justice correspondent, Evan Perez. Evan, you have breaking details on the Mueller investigation. What's the very latest?
That's right, Wolf. The Mueller investigators have been anything but quiet in the past month, even though, obviously, because of the November elections, the special counsel has not done anything public in the past, during this past month. Among the things that have been happening behind the scenes is this Paul Manafort, the former chairman of the Trump campaign, has been into the special counsel now as many as 9 times, giving dozens of hours of interviews to the special counsel team as part of his cooperation deal after pleading guilty to the special counsel charges last month. Also behind the scenes, Michael Cohen has been providing hours of testimony to the Mueller team, as well as prosecutors from the Southern District of New York. And also behind the scenes, talks have intensified between the special counsel and the president's lawyers. As you know, Wolf, they have now received questions from the special counsel, from the investigators, and those lawyers, the president's lawyers, are now going through trying to provide written answers to the questions that have now been received from the Mueller team. And also, another part of this investigation, which has to do with Roger Stone. We know that as many as 9 people associated with Roger Stone have now received subpoenas as part of the investigation. We know that at least a couple of those people have been having talks with the special counsel to provide information as part of this investigation. A lot going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's very widespread, I must say. So what do you expect from Mueller right after the November midterms, only less than 3 weeks away?
Right. We expect that right after we will see activity pick up, and that includes expected indictments that the special counsel team has been working on. That we expect is going to happen very quickly after the November elections. And then, Wolf, what the expectation is in the legal circle, certainly among the president's lawyers, is the possibility that a report, whatever report Mueller has produced, will go up to Rod Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General, sometime perhaps in December. Of course, the timeline here is everyone's guess. Mueller is not saying anything publicly. We know that because of these negotiations that have been going on behind the scenes, that it is possible this type of timeline will slip even further.
And we know the president told the Associated Press yesterday that he has a new White House counsel coming in, Pat Cipollone, to replace Don McGahn. What difference is that going to make?
Well, what this does, it signals, at least internally to the Trump team, that they're getting ready, Wolf, for what is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight with the Democrats. They expect, obviously, that the Democrats will take control of one of the houses of Congress, perhaps the House of Representatives, in the November election. And so what they expect is that the Democrats are going to launch a whole raft of new investigations of the executive branch. And, of course, they're going to start fighting for access to whatever Mueller has found. Keep in mind that the Mueller's findings only go to Rod Rosenstein. They don't necessarily automatically go to Congress. So if the Democrats have control of the House of Representatives, they will have to perhaps launch a legal fight to be able to get to certain findings that the Trump team believes are protected by executive privilege. We expect, by the way, that Cipollone is going to take over in the next couple of weeks. I'm told, by the way, Wolf, that Cipollone was a bit surprised that the announcement came as it did in the president's interview with the Associated Press. This was something that was perhaps going to come down in another couple of weeks. Don McGahn is still inside the White House. So this was going to be a rollout, but as often happens, unscripted in this Trump presidency. This was done in an Associated Press interview yesterday.
It's really quiet before this storm. Right. It's going to be very lively right after the midterms. Thanks very much for that excellent reporting, Evan Perez. Joining us now, Democratic Congressman Denny Heck. He's a key member of the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. I want to quickly begin with the new reporting you just heard from our own Evan Perez, our justice correspondent. Does the public silence from the special counsel's team right now tell you anything about this investigation, where it's heading?
No, because he's been silent all along. Although I would acknowledge, however, Wolf, that it's conceivable that he already has an indictment under seal and he's just waiting until the midterms have come and gone. We're all going to find this out together. Bob Mueller has conducted this investigation with the utmost of professionalism from the beginning. He's not discontinuing that track now. We'll all find out together.
We know there's been a lot of indictments and convictions. What's left, do you believe, Congressman, for Mueller and his team?
Well, as I have said repeatedly with you, Wolf, I believe more indictments are coming. It defies credibility. It certainly strains it to think that he has had plea deals with the president's personal lawyer, the president's campaign manager. He's granted immunity to the CFO of the Trump organization. He spent dozens and dozens of hours in interviews with those three individuals. It defies credibility that he is not going to come up with additional indictments. More people are going to go to jail than have been named thus far. Of that, I am confident. With
Michael Cohen, it doesn't look like there's a formal deal or anything, although he is cooperating, right?
He is, and in fact, that's what the 50 hours is all about. He's invested a lot of time, Director Mueller's invested a lot of time in extracting the truth from Mr. Cohen.
Do you expect additional indictments anytime soon against U.S. citizens?
Yes.
You want to name names?
No, I don't have names, or I would give them to you. But the fact of the matter is, this is obviously something that is going beyond the names of the people that have already been indicted or have already reached plea deals, or they wouldn't have invested all this time in interviewing them. So yes, I believe there will be additional indictments. I believe additional people will be going to jail, and I believe it is as a consequence of the intensive interviews he's doing with the people who have reached plea deals with Director Mueller.
At some point, though, we could see a final report, at least a version of a final report from the special counsel, and sources say that could come as early as December. He would submit that report to Rod Rosenstein, the Deputy Attorney General. Rosenstein would then have to decide what to do with it. Do you worry, though, that Mueller is feeling pressured right now to wrap up his investigation prematurely?
I've never lost one wink of sleep worrying about how Bob Mueller is going to respond to pressure. He's got a steel backbone. Remember, Wolf, this is a decorated Marine from the Vietnam-era conflict who has an entire career of noteworthy accomplishments. He's prosecuted Russian mobsters and organized criminals for his entire career, and he's done it unflinchingly and unblinkingly. So I don't worry whatsoever that he's going to be feeling any pressure to do anything other than that which he thinks is right under the law.
As you know, under the Republican majority, your committee, the House Intelligence Committee, has shut down its investigation. If the Democrats take the majority in the midterm elections, do you think the House Intelligence Committee will reopen the investigation?
Well, I'm trying not to think too far past 20 days and 5+ hours from now, Wolf, but it will depend on what the outcome of the election is, and it will depend on who would be chairing the committee at that time. And I also think, most importantly, it will depend on what Bob Mueller's report is if he makes it known shortly after the election. I mean, it's possible he issues it on November 7th. It could already be written. We just don't know. But I think there are an awful lot of people who are going to put a lot of trust in his work product because of the care that has gone into developing his work thus far.